What's up? So if you know me, before I get into any video discussion on a certain topic, I always have a drink with me. So let me crack this open, and I'm talking quickly because I don't want this to be a long video. It's a Mountain Dew Spark. So it's got like a, what is it? Raspberry lemonade kind of flavor Mountain Dew, but it's zero. So diet, so no calories. And then there are going to be some people, oh my gosh, diet, that's so horrible for you. It's not. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But I just wanted to real quick go over New Year. Everybody likes to start afresh in the coming year. So I wanted to give my diet weight loss advice. If you don't know, I once weighed about 200, sorry. I once weighed about 260 pounds at my heaviest, about 5.5 years ago, and today I'm hovering around 185. I'm 6'3", so I can only guess what my body fat percentage is, but I'm in a really good place. I've been roughly in the mid 180s, sometimes a little lower throughout the entire year. So I've lost the weight, I've kept it off. I can talk about I've kind of studied this. This is my non-professional. Kind of like throw that out there, do your own research, but just if you want to consider what I have to say, I'd appreciate that. But here's my advice on how to lose weight. And I did this last year, and I did it in a post rather than a video. And I got flack and pushback for what I said in there, but I'm going to reiterate it again now, but explain it a little better. So anybody who's watching, I can just assume that you're willing to hear the explanation I'm about to give. I don't have a diet to give you. What I'm going to do is explain the mechanics of weight loss. How does weight loss actually work? And then we'll go from there. Okay. So it boiled down to 2 points last year, and I still agree with these. Number one, like these are the two things that will allow you to lose weight this next year. Okay. These 2 points. They are simple. I never said easy, but they are simple. 2 points, right? Number one, consume fewer calories than you are expending. Do that consistently in the long term, that you are consuming fewer calories than you are expending. It's called a calorie deficit. If you are consuming more calories than you're expending, that's a calorie surplus, right? So consume fewer calories than you are expending on average, consistently in the long term. Point number two, do whatever it takes to accomplish that, to accomplish number one. Whatever works for you, whatever it takes to accomplish number one. The fact of the matter is, being in a consistent long-term calorie deficit is how you lose weight. That is how you lose weight. You don't get around that. It is the law of thermodynamics. And I have this to kind of explain that. And if it looks like a first grader wrote it, it's because this is front-facing camera, so it's backwards. So I had to write it backwards so it would look forward. That's why everything's all caps, and that's why it looks bad, but you can still get the gist of it. But anyway, so we have calories in versus calories out. That's what I said. You have to be consuming fewer than you are expending, right? That's calories in versus calories out. There's a lot of people, and I'll get into this, like fads and different diet influencers and stuff like that. They say, oh no, that's not how it works. That is how it works. That is how weight loss works. If you don't like calories in versus calories out, just call it energy balance, because that's all calories are. They're a measure of energy. Think about it this way. It's the law of thermodynamics. You don't get around that. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. If you are taking in more than you are expending, what happens with it? It doesn't just disappear because you're on the perfect diet to make that happen. No, your body holds on to it, right? If you are expending X number of calories every day, but you are consuming greater than that, what is your body going to do with those excess calories? It's going to hold on to it. It's going to store them in adipose fat tissue, and say, because your body is thinking, I have more coming in than I need, so I'm going to store this in case there's a time in the future that I need to use this. So that we're built to survive. Like that would happen, in days gone by where people, they didn't necessarily have like consistent food sources like we do today, so their body was ready. It had a mechanism by which that it could survive. Oh, we had greater calories coming in than we needed, so we store it that way. If there's ever a food shortage, I can just pull it from what I got, right? But if you are consuming fewer calories than you are expending, then your body says, "Hey, I'm doing all this. I need this much energy, but it's not coming in. So I'm going to take it from my stores and use that." And that is weight loss. And here you go. Calories in, calories out. It is a balance that you have to hit, right? Calories in, that's your food, drinks, anything you're consuming. Calories out, TDEE. Like I said, the handwriting is terrible. I already have bad handwriting, but I'm also writing it backwards. Total daily energy expenditure. This is your calories out. That is measured by your BMR. That's the amount of calories it takes, the energy, to just keep the lights on, just for your body to function every single day, through all its basic functions, right? Exercise, that one's pretty obvious. That takes energy. You're going to burn calories doing that. NEAT stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Notice I'm sitting here and I'm moving. This is non-exercise activity right here. Walking upstairs to go get something, just stuff like that. Things that you are doing that it's your body is moving, expending calories, but it's not with the purpose of exercise. It's just to do things during the day. And then you have TEF, that's the thermic effect of food, digestion, and it's more complicated than that, but just keep it simple. Digestion does take energy, right? So calories in versus calories out, what you're consuming, and then all these added up are your total daily energy expenditure. When this is greater than this, when calories out is greater than calories in, you will lose weight. Okay, that's how it works. It is the law of thermodynamics. If you don't have enough energy coming in, your body, what's it going to do? How is it going to get the energy it needs? It is going to pull it from its stores, right? And then, whenever you talk about this, people say it doesn't work like that, and I'll get into the some other things, just to kind of put a pin in that. But I'll say this: it's math. Like, I can track it. A pound of fat has about 3,500 calories, right? I can track it down to mathematics. Back in March, I was like, I'm going to let this be a cutting month, and I'm going to do an aggressive cut for the month of March. And I knew the amount of calories I was going to limit myself to on average daily. And then I just took that over the course of the month, and just with math, I was like, okay, so I'm going to lose at the most 7 pounds. We're going to be somewhere around 7 pounds. 7 is kind of like the most I'm going to lose at this rate, if this is what I stick to consistently. I stuck to it consistently. I didn't cheat. I did really well. I lost 6.6 pounds. And that kind of discrepancy can easily be, maybe I just consumed a little bit more than I was tracking. Maybe I didn't exercise quite as much as I was factoring in. 6.6 pounds, like it's math. It's math. Jonathan Pritchett, if you guys want, if my Christian brethren want a place, a Christian fellowship group to go to that is focused on health and exercise, Theology Geek Fitness is good. It's run by Jonathan Pritchett, but he was overweight. I don't know his exact weight amounts, but he was overweight. And I've seen the before pictures. He had a gut, like he was fat. And he wanted to lose weight, and all he did is say, I want to lose 75 pounds in 6 months. And all he did was calculate how many calories he would have to be in a deficit by every day in order for that to happen. He lost 75 pounds in 6 months, and he, based on his calculations of how much calories he needed to consume every day and what kind of deficit he needed to be in. That's all he did. Calories in versus calories out. You don't get around that. That is the mechanics of weight loss, weight gain. Okay? But whenever I talk about this, people always come in and they're like, no, it's not calories, it's hormones. Namely, okay, well, first of all, we'll just say hormones in general. They're like, oh, well, I have this condition, hypothyroidism, something like that. That is affected by BMR. You'll get And there's other conditions. I don't have one named right now, but that can affect. There are things that can affect your BMR to where you are expending fewer calories, but it's still in this equation of calories out. It's not something, hormones don't magically make it to where calories can just disappear into the ether or appear out of nowhere. It doesn't work like that. It's still factored into this. You'll get some influencers who will say a calorie is not a calorie. Why? Because protein takes more calories to digest. That's thermic effect of food. It's already factored in here, okay? But then it comes to insulin. Guess what? Let me pull this back up. Insulin has nothing to do with any of this. Nothing. So, what they'll say, because keto and carnivore are really popular right now, if not just low carb in general, what they'll say is that you need to keep your insulin low, because when insulin's high, your body can't burn fat. If you keep insulin low, you'll be in fat burning mode more and you'll lose weight. The problem with that is there's another side to the equation, and here it is, another shoddily drawn graph, but this has to do with fat loss and fat gain. Fat loss and fat gain is a balance of fat burning and fat storage. All right? So whenever somebody is saying your insulin needs to be low, because guess what? When your insulin's low, you're going to be burning fat like crazy, right? Yeah. You're also going to be storing a lot of fat as well. Because think about it. Because carbohydrates are insulinogenic. So whenever they say, keep your insulin at a good level, they usually mean go low carb, no sugars, no carbs, all that stuff. It's low carb. So what replaces carbs in a diet? It's going to be protein and fat, right? And so when you're consuming a lot of fat is not insulinogenic, so you'll be burning a lot of fat because your insulin will be relatively low comparatively. But because of all the fat you're consuming, you're also storing more fat. That's how it works. That's the other side of the equation that doesn't get factored in these conversations. But let's say, and what they'll say is that if you're in a high carb, if you have a lot of carbs in your diet, your insulin is raised, it's higher, and therefore you're not burning fat because your insulin's higher. Yeah, you're not burning as much fat. You're also not storing as much fat, right? The other side of the equation that needs to be factored in. So what determines I'll say this, when fat burning is greater than fat storage, you are losing fat off your body, aka losing weight. When fat burning is less than fat storage, you are gaining fat, aka gaining weight. So what determines making fat burning greater than fat storage? Calories. If you're in a calorie deficit, whether you're burning a lot of fat or storing a lot of fat, the calorie deficit is what determines that the fat burning is greater than the fat storage. That's what it comes down to. People disagree with that, but that's just how it is. I can link to things, studies, meta-analyses. If anybody wants it, I can link to it. There are studies being done. This isn't just me like ranting some random guy on the internet. I am some random guy on the internet, but I'm pulling this from somewhere. People say you need to do fasted workouts. I do fasted workouts. I love fasted workouts, but you don't have to do it. Because they're like, oh, well, if working out fasted, you're just burning fat that whole time. Yes, you are. But then you're going to eat eventually, and then you're going to be storing more fat because you're going to eat more later. There's this one drug. It's called semaglutide. You can look it up, and it is a really effective drug in helping people lose weight. And one of the effects it has is that it greatly raises insulin. Semaglutide, it greatly raises insulin, yet people are taking that and losing weight, and it's because it's an appetite suppressant. Therefore, because it's an appetite suppressant, they're eating less calories and losing weight. And guess what? Their insulin sensitivity improves as well as they lose weight, even though it raises their insulin. So if insulin controls weight loss, how can that work? There was that actor Ethan Suplee, I forget his name. He was really big guy he was one of the bullies in Boy Meets World. He was in the Butterfly Effect, My Name is Earl. Remember the Titans, really big guy, but now he's like jacked and thin, like cut. And he tells a story where he bought into the low carb stuff, and so as he was losing weight, he actually plateaued at one point, and he thought to himself, I bet it's because of the carbs in the lettuce of my salads that's causing me to do this, like to plateau. And it's actually like, no, he was adding tons of oil My food's done cooking. That's what that is. He was adding tons of oil to his salads because oil is high in fat and fats are high in calories, right? So because he was doing that, that's what plateaued him. Once he figured that out, he was able to continue to lose weight. Um, because the fact of the matter is, on low carb, low insulin diets, you can still gain weight if you're in a calorie surplus. Then you have right, like Asian countries eat tons of carbs all the time, and yet they don't have the obesity epidemic we do. Why is that? Um, and then there was a study in the 70s where they took these guys. Some of them were like really big guys, and they put them on a specific diet, and it was called the rice diet. They ate basically white rice, sugar, and white bread, I think it was. And then over the period of time, I think it was a year, they lost 100 pounds and their insulin sensitivity improved, everything. But it was like all these insulinogenic, like really, really high carb diets. The fact of the matter is, whether in studies where protein and calories are equated, fat loss is the same whether it's high carb or low carb. It doesn't matter. It's basically the same, right? So when people are saying it's all about carbs and keeping your insulin low, it's not. It's really not. That is not what determines weight loss. Well, what happens is people are like, no, I tried the calories in, calories out thing. Yeah, studies show that we're really bad. People are typically really bad at tracking the calories they're consuming. And the devices, like you have the Apple Watch and all that stuff, they overestimate how many calories are burned during exercise. So it can honestly be chalked up to that. And the reason I go through all that is because you're going to get people who they have this diet or health hack. If anybody is selling you a diet, health, or exercise hack, just know the real hack is the person trying to sell it to you. There is no hacks. There is no shortcuts. That doesn't exist in the weight loss and health industry. It doesn't exist. There are no hacks. You have to do the work, right? But there's lots of fads out there. TikTok is a horrible place to get weight loss advice from, or health or anything like that. It is horrible because people on there, they're influencers. They need clicks, they need views, and if they're prominent enough, they also have stuff to sell you. Okay, you can't go off that. And keto and carnivore are really big right now. But I want you to hear this now. What I'm basically saying is that the diet is in, like, what you choose to do to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, that's in your hands. I'm giving it to you. I'm not saying come to me or anybody else. It's saying, like, here's the mechanics of weight loss. You burn more calories than you are consuming, or consume less calories than you're burning, you'll lose weight. That is the basis right there. Now, how you do it, that's for you to decide. If it's keto, go do keto. People lose weight on keto, okay? If it's carnivore, man, carnivore would be tough. You go do it. All right. If it's vegan, do it. Paleo, I've seen people do paleo. I lost weight. What really kickstarted that was intermittent fasting, because I wasn't eating for 16 hours straight. And then in my 8-hour eating window, I naturally ate less than what I had been eating before that. So I lost weight, not because fasting and insulin and all that like magically causes that. It's because I ate fewer calories. Right. So what I'm saying is, this is all, like, I went on that long rant. That's number one, the mechanics of weight loss, and kind of debunking the whole insulin thing. It comes down to find a way that works for you, that you can stick to. That's the point, that you can stick to, that consistently puts you in a calorie deficit in the long term. That's what it takes. Okay. Now, what that is up to you. I thought everybody would lose weight if they just practiced intermittent fasting. I was wrong. There are some people, when they try it, they binge during their eating window and gain weight. It happens. It's not for you. I don't like keto. I love my carbs. I love eating cookie dough right before I go to bed. I love macaroni. Yeah, all this stuff can be keto friendly. I get it, but it's too much hassle. You get the point. I don't want to do keto, so I don't. It does not work for me. Not because keto doesn't work as a diet. If it puts you in a calorie deficit, it is working. But I could not stick to it, therefore it wasn't a good idea for me. Hopefully that makes sense. So if I have any tips, here's just a few tips, right? Besides just be in a calorie deficit consistently in the long term. Um, I'm not saying you have to track your calories precisely. Some people can do that. Some people can't do that. I do that. I do rough estimates, and it works for me. Not everybody can do that. If you want to do that, maybe to start off, I do whatever works for you. Whenever I first started losing weight, I started intermittent fasting, and then I lost, oh gosh, what was it? It was like 30 pounds in the first 4 or 5 months, and I wasn't tracking any calories. In fact, I wasn't even really restricting myself that much. Like I was getting off work and going and eating like at fast food. So there's that, but it's kind of like saying, you know, do you have to track your calories precisely? No, but it can be helpful to some people. Once again, do what works for you. It's like saying that, does a budget mean that you're going to get out of debt? No, but can it be helpful? Yes, to some people. Not everybody needs it. Not everybody can stick to it. Do what works for you. That's what I'm saying. Exercise is a great idea because, all this has just been about weight loss, but also body composition. Exercise is healthy it's going to improve your health in every single way. Like bodily and mentally, everything is going to improve through exercise. Do it. If you ever hear anybody say, oh, if you're trying to lose weight and you're exercising, stop doing cardio. Don't stop doing cardio. Do cardio. Do lots of cardio. Okay. Cardio is good for you. Cardio is an immediate calories out, good for weight loss kind of thing. Resistance training, that's like weightlifting and all that stuff. That does burn some calories, but not nearly as much as cardio, but it's like a long-term investment because you're going to build muscle on it. And then muscle burns more calories. That goes back to your BMR. So it's like a long-term investment, but do both. Do both. Do resistance training, do cardio if you're able to. I do lots of cardio because I enjoy it, and it works for me. I run, some people bike, some people do other things. Do what works for you. But as far as exercise go, I do recommend exercise. I recommend doing resistance training and cardio. Actually, I've read a few articles that doctors nowadays are recommending 150 minutes of cardio per week. So that's 2.5 hours of cardio per week is like highly recommended for optimal health, and training all your body parts twice a week, resistance training. So there you go. There's a base to work towards. Some of this stuff can be in baby steps. One thing, if you like, switch to 0-calorie drinks. If you're drinking pop, switch to diet. Oh my gosh, diet is so bad for you, Derek. It's not. Aspartame is not going to kill you. There's so little in it, in these drinks. You're going to be fine. Okay. Plus, any deleterious health effects somebody thinks you get from diet drinks, I guarantee you, I would rather you lose weight because you started drinking diet drinks rather than, the full sugar ones. Like, that's going to improve your health more than this is going to negatively affect it. I promise you that. But studies do not show aspartame as being horrible for you. It's something they did in rat studies, but in randomized human control trials, aspartame is not going to hurt you unless you're drinking like literally a 12-pack a day. And then maybe it'll have an effect on you. You'll be fine. Switch to diet drinks or 0-calorie drinks of any kind. That helps me a lot, because just drinking water sucks. But yeah, and some people are saying I need to do this specific diet because I have this condition. Under most circumstances, just simply losing weight will improve your health in all ways. Just lose weight. Like, inflammation will go down, insulin sensitivity will become better, heart health, gut microbiome, it all improves through losing weight. It doesn't have to be a specific diet to do it. And so, other than that, I would say forget about influencers. Don't look at movie stars and their great bodies, chiseled and all that stuff. Don't look at physique people. Don't look at, workout influencers, because whenever you're looking at somebody with like a rippling, like washboard abs, they're probably flexing. In fact, I can almost guarantee they're flexing. There could be Photoshop work there. They have trained really hard for it, and they do not look like that year round at all. Like, on their off season, they don't look anything like that. And sometimes even they have steroids and other hormonal contributions to reach that, and genetically they might be superior in that way. Sometimes it happens. Those are not people you should be looking to. Don't worry about it. Just think about bettering yourself, stewarding your body. Don't worry about influencers like that. Plus, people that, except for the really superficial people, nobody cares about if you look like that. Just don't worry about influencers and movie stars and all that stuff. It's not realistic. Plus, they're rich, so they probably have people who can provide their meals that are like super expensive, and have the time to just devote to their bodies like that in ways that most people don't. So don't worry about them. Forget about them. That's not the standard. Most people don't even care if you don't look exactly like that. It's just, forget about that. But they put it out there because they want you to look like that, and then they can sell a product, they can generate clicks. Don't fall for it. And then the thing is, what's going to really help you is have a why. Why are you doing this? If you want to lose weight, why? Why do you need to do this? And I think that's extremely important, because the fact of the matter is there are going to be times where it's hard. Okay, it's going to happen, because there is no shortcut. There is no like, oh, that was easy and I never even had to try. No, there is a price to pay. You will pay a price. That's the reason not everybody does it, is because there is a price to pay and not everybody is willing to do it. So whenever, and I even have these sometimes too, where I'm like, I just don't feel like it. I just don't feel like, I just want to sit on my couch and just eat like 3 entire pizzas and just not even worry about it. You have moments of weakness like that. Having a why keeps you in check, right? And the fact of the matter is, diet anxiety exists. If you have this diet kind of idea and you fall off the wagon a little bit, just get back on. It's okay. You don't have to, oh, it's over, it's never going to happen. Get back on, okay? You can out-train a bad day of eating. Just get back on the train. That's all. Okay, don't let it stress you out. And your why hopefully is one that motivates you in a good way, to where you're not having anxiety. But there's you can look up stuff. I don't want to speak to mental health whenever it comes to weight loss stuff, because I do know people who have legitimate mental health conditions that have to do with all this. So just be willing to pay the price. Do what works for you to consistently put you in a calorie deficit in the long term. And just losing weight will improve your health. Exercise improves it in every way. Do what works for you. Don't fall for fads. Don't let influencers and people who get paid to look good be the ones to set the standard for how you need to look. And I think that might be it. If you have questions, like I said, I can link to studies of everything I just said. I can show before and after pictures of myself if you don't believe that I was once a little on the chubbier side. I shouldn't be too hard on myself. I had a dad bod. We'll put it that way. So anyway, hope this is helpful. I went longer than I intended to, but it is what it is. The people who care will watch this. So have a good day, and good luck in the next year.